Hey guys, I'm back with another video. Trying to record these while I have the chance. I've got a stack of some pretty decent finds, all stuff I got for cheap, including a few upgrade copies. So let's just get right into it. The first one here is an amazing album. Buffalo Springfield, self-titled, with the hype sticker. This was in the $3 bin, so I said, why not? I'll pick it up. This is not a first pressing. It's the pressing that has For What It's Worth on it. But it was a pretty nice copy, and I had a reissue of this, so I'm glad to pick up an original, you know, as I always am. This album is very special to me. All three of their albums are very special to me. They're just such a great group, and I absolutely love them. This next one is another upgrade, and another one that came from the $3 bin, which is pretty crazy considering how popular these albums have become and how much they go for online for some ridiculous reason. But yeah, definitely very glad to pick up this. It's Asia by Steely Dan, a fantastic album. This has got that promo stamp, which is, I'm a sucker for a promo stamp. It's got the inner, it's got the gatefold, it's got the Goodwill sticker, which I did not buy it from Goodwill, but someone bought it from Goodwill. This is not the cleanest copy, and to be honest, I haven't played this copy yet, but this is a great Steely Dan album. I'm a big fan of Steely Dan, which I don't know if that comes across in my videos. I love classic rock just as much as the next guy, and I love dad rock. A great Steely Dan album, just wonderful. All of their stuff, up to Guacho, or however you pronounce it, Gacho. Great. Just, I love Steely Dan. My favorite of theirs is probably Can't Buy a Thrill, but yeah, can't go wrong with Steely Dan, especially for $3, because now these albums are going for ridiculous amounts. This one, I'm not too sure about. I'm not sold on it completely, but I figured I'd pick it up. Blood Rock 2. This has got their only sort of hit song, which is DOA, Dead on Arrival. You know, it's pretty metal. This is definitely some proto-metal type stuff. I don't know if this is just my opinion, but the lyrics are horrible. Like, they're so bad. Like, it sounds, the riffs and the heavy stuff and even the vocals, it's all good. And just the lyrics bring it down so much for me. Like, it's laughable at times. I don't know if... I have no room to speak, probably. DOA is a really good heavy song, but like the lyrics are very, very straightforward. Everything is, it's like spoon-fed to you what the meaning of the song is, which I know lyrics don't bother people. They usually don't bother me, but this one kind of does. It was cheap, and I need to listen to it again. I really like the heavy riffs. Again, I'm a sucker for that heavy stuff, and this has definitely got heavy, heavy moments on it, like proto-metal type moments, but you just gotta, maybe I just gotta look past the words. I had Blood Rock 3, and I got rid of it too, probably for the same reason, but I don't really remember. I'm looking for the first one. I'm curious to know what that one's like. I'd say pick it up, but watch out for the words, because some moments I just couldn't. Moving on. These are in no particular order. I just kind of pulled these out, except for the last one was my favorite one that I got. This one, I'll have to give a shout out to my mom. She told me about this album, and she told me about how she liked it. So I saw it for a cheap price, and I picked it up. This is All the Young Dudes by Mott the Hoople. And this is great. I really enjoyed this album. They do Sweet Jane, which is a Velvet Underground song, and they do Ready for Love, which is a Bad Company song, but it's actually originally a Mott the Hoople song. The guitar player, I believe, or I think it was the guitar player, ended up joining Bad Company, so he took that song with him, and this is a great version of it, and the Bad Company version is a great version of it. This is like total glam rock. I know everyone probably knows it, but yeah, I definitely got into glam rock more than I used to be, so I really enjoy this album. He sounds like Bob Dylan. Sounds like he's trying to sing like Bob Dylan at times, and I think that was the goal, if I read my Wikipedia correctly. Yeah, just a nice original copy on Columbia. This next one, I will shout out Matthew over at Yesterday's Trips, who I urge to make more content because I think it's great. But he always told me that this was one of his favorite albums by this band. This is Somebody's Watching by Rare Bird. Not anything like their first couple albums, but this one I did really enjoy. I think Matthew likes this one more than me still. Definitely. I've got to listen to it again, but yeah, I did really enjoy this album. 1973 this one came out, so this is their later stuff, and this is more guitar-oriented rock, and their earlier stuff is more organ-oriented, which I love organ-oriented bands. I think it's so cool. Clean copy, and it was, again, $3, so figured why not. And yeah, definitely recommend picking it up. It is a really good album, and thank you to Yesterday's Trips for urging me to pick this one up, and I'm glad I did. This next one is from one of my favorite artists of all time, and, you know, top 3 artists of all time for me, and I just need all of the stuff I can get from him, and I decided I'd pick it up when I see it now. Jimi Hendrix. This is the Rainbow Bridge soundtrack, but none of these songs were in the film Rainbow Bridge, so I don't know why they did that. I think this is his second posthumous release. He had The Cry of Love, and then this one came out. Amazing. It's Jimi Hendrix. I'm gonna love it no matter what. If this was just Jimi Hendrix playing a 40-minute guitar solo, I'd love it. Earth Blues is great. Room Full of Mirrors is wonderful. And of course, Hear My Train A-Comin'. And yeah, just great stuff. Definitely recommend picking it up. As if you didn't know that. The text on this album is impossible to read. They put red on red. You can't even really see that there's text there. Really bad design, but, you know, whatever. This is hard to read as well. Jimmy is the greatest guitar player ever, and I always say that's a fact, and you can't argue with me. So, don't even try. This next one, I was really excited about, and turned out to be a bit of a little bummer, but not too much of a bummer, because I didn't pay much for it. Songs of Leonard Cohen, but it's not the Songs of Leonard Cohen. It's the album that came out afterwards. That's what I meant by bummer. I didn't mean that the music was a bummer. I know Songs of Leonard Cohen is great, and I need to find a copy, and I thought I was getting a really good deal for picking it up for $3, and it wasn't. Whatever. This next one is by a guy I absolutely love. I have his first solo album. I think this is his second one. Definitely not as good as the first one, but this is L by Steve Hillage. He does Hurdy Gurdy Man on here. There's a lot of covers, which is interesting. He does It's All Too Much by the Beatles. But my favorite track on here is the Lunar Music Suite, because my favorite track on the first album is the Solar Music Suite. ridiculously good guitar player. I love Steve Hillage. He was in a band called Arzachel, which is a psych band. They have one release, and it's like my number one. It's produced and engineered by Todd Rundgren, which is pretty cool. But yeah, Steve Hillage is a great music, and love his stuff, so I picked it up. This next one was a blind buy, but I knew of this artist because they were in a psych band in the 60s. But this is one of their releases from the 70s. This is Ellen McIlwain, We the People. This is fantastic. A wonderful album. And it runs you $5, maybe 5 to 10. It's a little bit funky. It's folky. It's got rockin' moments. It's got everything. And it's just great. They do another version of Underground River, which was on their first album. I don't know if I've ever shown this record on my channel, but this is the band Ellen McIlwain was in. It's called Fear Itself. A great psych album. Wonderful psych album. Ooh, hear that crispy gatefold. Sorry. Anyways, yeah. They do Underground River on here, and she redoes the version on there, and they're completely different, and yeah. She is a wonderful guitar player. She's a great guitar player. It's really cool to hear her play and sing like that. This was on Dot. This is a pretty decent copy of this. I've had this one for a while. I don't know if I've ever shown it, but yeah, that's a great psych album. But this one is not psych. But it's got a bit of everything, and it's just wonderful. It's just such a good listen, and I really enjoy it, and I highly recommend you pick up a copy if you see it. Cheap Heat, for sure. You would not be disappointed by this album. Maybe it would take a couple of listens, but it's wonderful. A great release. And I'll definitely be looking out for her other solo stuff. I believe she has a few. This next one I got because it does not have a US release, and this was actually one of the ones that was not $3, but I figured I'd pick it up because I'd heard good things about it, and I think this is another one that Yesterday's Trips turned me on to because he has a copy. This is Omega 3. It's a bit of a heavier album. This band is from Hungary, but this is a German pressing. I think they released this first in Germany. They have albums in Hungarian and albums in English, and a very long-lasting band, but Stormy Fire opens this up, and that's a great heavy track. This is an original pressing on Ballicus Records, and it's a nice copy, too. Definitely need to play it again, because I think I only played it once, but definitely one worth checking out and picking up if you ever see it. And the final album I'm going to show is one that was on my radar, and I was so excited to pick it up for this price, and it blew me away when I put it on. I haven't been blown away like that in a while. Probably not since the Mahavishnu Orchestra, but just a fantastic album. The Sons of Champlin, Loosen Up Naturally. This is amazing. It's like if Chicago was from San Francisco. This album came out around the same time as the first Chicago album. It's great. There's one track that's kind of a dud, a wanker, if you will. Don't Fight It, Do It. It's kind of a wanker song, to quote Lionel Richie. But I love this album cover. And a cool fun fact is right here, it says the F word. And they went through and they manually crossed it out with a pen. They made their workers do that, which is wild on both sides. So that's how you know it's an early pressing. This came out on Capitol Records. And yeah, just amazing album. It's horn rock, you know, it's got a horn section. I would never say this is psychedelic. I know people will, but not really. It's just great music, you know, and a double album. A lot of similarities to the first Chicago album, but it's fantastic. Blew me away. Wasn't expecting it to be that good, and it was. So, love the cover art too. But this is definitely one to look out for. And that's all I got for this video. Thanks for all the support recently on my channel. I'm so glad to be able to make videos at the moment. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. Bye.